Plymouth this evening sitting at just 2 degrees Celsius, whilst Aberdeen is hovering around 7 degrees. Yes, you heard that correctly. The southwest is currently colder than the northeast of Scotland. Is your area about to face one of the most unpredictable weather patterns we've seen this winter? Right now, the Met Office has yellow warnings in place across 14 counties, affecting over 8 million people. And what is coming next could change everything for your weekend plans. Over the next 12 minutes, I'll tell you exactly when the rain arrives in London, when Manchester sees the heaviest downpours, what Birmingham can expect Friday evening, and why Glasgow might dodge the worst of it entirely. But drop your location in the comments right now, your city or county, because tomorrow I'll be giving personalized forecasts for every single area you mention. Let's just get straight into the specifics. London, currently 6 degrees, tomorrow climbing to 9 degrees, but here is what matters more than the temperature. Rain arrives Friday evening around 6:30, heaviest between 9 and 11 o'clock, potentially 20 to 30 millimeters in just 3 hours. That is your evening commute absolutely hammered. For those of you in Manchester, you are looking at an earlier arrival, rain starting Friday afternoon around 2 o'clock, continuing through until Saturday morning. Birmingham, your concern isn't just the rain, it's the rain combined with gusty winds, potentially reaching 60 kilometers per hour Friday night. Leeds at 5 degrees tomorrow, Sheffield at 6 degrees, both facing similar conditions to Manchester with that afternoon onset. Newcastle, you are in a slightly better position, rain not arriving until Friday evening around 8 o'clock, but when it comes hard. Edinburgh at 7 degrees, Glasgow at 8 degrees. And this is where it gets interesting, because the models are showing a significant split. The Met Office unified model suggests Glasgow stays mostly dry Friday, whilst the European model brings heavier rain across the central belt. That 30-kilometre difference changes everything for your Friday evening plans. Bristol currently at 4 degrees, tomorrow reaching 8 degrees. Rain arriving late Friday night, clearing Saturday morning. Cardiff, similar pattern but arriving slightly earlier, around 10 o'clock Friday night. Southampton at 6 degrees, Brighton at 7 degrees. Both looking at Friday evening rain with coastal areas potentially seeing the strongest winds. Dover, you rewrite on the edge of this system, could go either way at this stage. We'll have a clearer picture tomorrow morning when the latest model runs come through. Liverpool at 5 degrees tomorrow, rain starting Friday early afternoon, heaviest mid-evening. Nottingham at 6 degrees, Leicester at 5 degrees, both seeing rain arrive Friday tea time, continuing through the night. Cambridge at 7 degrees, Oxford at 6 degrees. And for the university cities, this is rather unusual timing because the low pressure system is taking a more southerly track than initially expected. Now, here is what nobody is talking about. Behind this rain band on Saturday, we've got a secondary area of low pressure developing over the Atlantic. And according to the latest ECMWF model run this morning, this could bring another round of rain Sunday evening. The Met Office model is less convinced, showing this staying further west. This matters enormously for your weekend plans, particularly if you are in Wales or the southwest. Swansea at 7 degrees tomorrow, rain Friday night into Saturday morning, but potentially a second bout Sunday evening. Bangor at 6 degrees, similar story. Plymouth at 4 degrees tomorrow, climbing to 7 degrees Saturday, but that secondary system could bring renewed rain Sunday. Exeter at 5 degrees, Penzance at 6 degrees, both watching that Atlantic development very closely. Aberdeen at 7 degrees tomorrow, Inverness at 6 degrees. And for Scotland, the story is really about Saturday night into Sunday. A weak weather front could bring some rain to the Highlands, but amounts look modest, perhaps 5 to 10 millimetres. Glasgow, as I mentioned earlier, there is still some uncertainty about Friday. The Met Office is showing you staying largely dry. The European model brings rain. Tomorrow morning, S-model runs should clarify this, so do check back because that could change your Friday evening completely. Belfast at 6 degrees tomorrow, rain arriving Friday night around 11 o'clock, clearing Saturday lunchtime. Derry at 5 degrees, similar timing, but potentially lasting a bit longer into Saturday afternoon. York at 6 degrees tomorrow, rain Friday evening, and for Yorkshire, this combines with gusty winds making it feel rather unpleasant. Scarborough on the coast could see winds gusting to 70 kilometers per hour Friday night. Let me just clarify the timing for the southeast because this is crucial. London, rain arrives 6:30 Friday evening. Kent and Sussex, you are looking at 7 o'clock. But here, where model uncertainty creeps in. The pressure gradient between the low to the west and high pressure over Scandinavia will determine wind strength. If that gradient tightens, we could see stronger winds than currently forecast. If it relaxes, winds stay moderate. Currently looking at 40 to 50 kilometers per hour, but there's a chance of 60 to 70 kilometers per hour for exposed coastal areas. Reading at 7 degrees tomorrow, Luton at 6 degrees, both seeing rain arrive Friday early evening. For the M25 and M1 corridors, Friday evening rush hour looks absolutely dreadful. Standing water possible on some routes, reduced visibility, spray from heavy goods vehicles. If you can, avoid major motorway travel between 6 and 9 o'clock Friday evening. Coventry at 6 degrees tomorrow, Leicester at 5 degrees. And for the Midlands, the compounding factor is ground saturation. We had over 150 millimetres of rain in January alone in some parts. The ground simply cannot take much more. That's why even 20 to 30 millimetres Friday night could cause localised flooding in vulnerable areas. The Environment Agency has flood warnings in place for several rivers across the Midlands already. Actually, I should be more precise about those flood warnings. Currently, there are 12 flood warnings and 34 flood alerts across England and Wales. A warning means flooding is expected, an alert means it is possible. Most of these are along river valleys in the Midlands and Welsh borders. If you're near the River Severn, River Trent, or River Avon, stay updated on those warnings because Friday night rain could push some rivers over their banks. Norwich at 7 degrees tomorrow, Ipswich at 8 degrees, and for East Anglia, you are in a transitional zone. The main rain band might just clip you Friday night, or it might stay further west. The latest Met Office run from this morning shows you getting clipped. The European run from last night keeps you drier. It is genuinely 50-50 at this point. Tomorrow's forecast will be much clearer. Preston at 5 degrees tomorrow, Blackpool at 6 degrees, and for the northwest coast, those winds I mentioned earlier could bring some big waves. Coastal flooding is unlikely but not impossible during Friday night as high tide. Barrow in Furness at 5 degrees, similar concerns. If you are in coastal communities, just keep an eye on tide times Friday evening. Bournemouth at 7 degrees tomorrow, rain Friday evening, fairly brief, clearing before midnight. Portsmouth at 8 degrees, similar story. The south coast actually escapes the worst of this because the low tracks further north than initially modelled. 3 days ago, models had this tracking right over the channel. Now it's shifted north, which is good news for Hampshire and Dorset, less good for areas further north. Hang on, let me check that again. Yes, the shift has been about 80 kilometres northward compared to Wednesday's runs. That's quite significant. It moved the heaviest rain from the south coast into the Midlands and northwest. If you've been watching this develop over the past few days, that why the forecast has changed. Not that we got it wrong initially, that atmospheric conditions evolved differently than the models suggested 4 days ago. Chester at 6 degrees tomorrow, Stoke-on-Trent at 5 degrees, both seeing rain Friday afternoon through to Saturday morning. For Stoke particularly, the Peak District to your east could enhance rainfall slightly through orographic lift. You might see 30 to 40 millimetres while surrounding areas see 20 to 30 millimetres. That Foehn effect works both ways. Derby at 6 degrees tomorrow, Lincoln at 7 degrees. And for Lincolnshire, you are on that eastern edge. Again, the rain shadow from the Pennines might actually keep you a bit drier than areas further west, but it's marginal. We are talking 20 millimetres versus 30 millimetres, not dry versus wet. Gloucester at 6 degrees tomorrow, Worcester at 5 degrees, both right in the firing line Friday night. The River Severn is already running high. Another 30 millimetres could be problematic. Hereford at 5 degrees, similar concerns. The Welsh borders have had a particularly wet January, over 170 millimetres in some spots. That's nearly 3 times the average. Canterbury at 8 degrees tomorrow, Maidstone at 7 degrees, and for Kent, your rain arrives Friday evening around 7 o'clock, heaviest between 8 and 10 o'clock, then easing overnight. Dover on the coast, you get the added bonus of those stronger winds. Channel crossings could be disrupted Friday evening and Saturday morning. If you are travelling to the continent, check with your ferry operator. Winchester at 7 degrees tomorrow, Salisbury at 6 degrees, both seeing rain Friday late evening. Relatively brief compared to areas further north. By Saturday morning, you should be clearing, but that secondary low I mentioned earlier, that the one to watch for Sunday. Currently, the ECMWF model brings rain to the southwest Sunday evening. The Met Office model keeps it offshore. We need to see what tomorrow's runs show. Bath at 7 degrees tomorrow, Cheltenham at 6 degrees, both seeing rain Friday evening into Saturday morning. The Cotswolds could see some enhanced totals through elevation, might push towards 40 millimetres on the higher ground. Swindon at 7 degrees, relatively flat terrain, so standard 20 to 30 millimetres expected. Dundee at 7 degrees tomorrow, Perth at 6 degrees, and for eastern Scotland, Friday looks mostly dry. It's really Saturday night when that weak front approaches. Not a major rain event, but 5 to 10 millimetres possible. Stirling at 6 degrees, sitting right between potentially wet and potentially dry. Model uncertainty is highest for central Scotland. Carlisle at 5 degrees tomorrow, rain Friday afternoon. And for Cumbria, this is lake effect territory potentially. If winds swing to the right direction over the Irish Sea Saturday, could see some enhanced showers. But that is Saturday, not Friday. Friday is the main rain event. Now, there's one thing that concerns me most about this forecast. It's not the rain itself. It's the combination of rain, wind, and ground saturation. We've set ourselves up through January for any additional rainfall to cause problems. The ground is saturated, rivers are already high, drains are struggling. When you add 20 to 40 millimeters in 3 to 4 hours Friday night, that's a recipe for surface water flooding. The Met Office has yellow warnings in place for rain across the Midlands, Northwest, and parts of Wales for Friday night into Saturday morning. Yellow means be aware. Have a plan if you are traveling. Know your route. Have alternatives ready. If you live in a flood-prone area, make sure your flood kit is accessible. Sandbags, torches, that sort of thing. Let me talk about Sunday briefly because this is where forecast uncertainty increases significantly. That secondary area of low pressure I mentioned earlier is currently over the mid-Atlantic. It's forecast to deepen as it approaches. The question is, does it track north towards Iceland or northeast towards Britain? Currently, the ECMWF ensemble mean suggests a more northeasterly track, which would bring rain to Western Britain Sunday evening into Monday. The Met Office ensemble shows more spread, suggesting lower confidence. Some members bring rain, others keep it away. What this means practically, if you have Sunday plans in Wales or the southwest, have a backup plan. If you further east or north, you probably fine, but it is worth checking Saturday evening's update. This is exactly why I'll be posting tomorrow. The 12-hour difference in model data could completely change the Sunday outlook. For those of you who commented on yesterday's video asking about next week, here is the broader picture. A ridge of high pressure might build from the southwest Monday into Tuesday, which would settle things down. But confidence is low beyond Sunday. The jet stream is in a particularly active pattern. We are getting Atlantic depression after Atlantic depression. Until that jet stream buckles into a more blocked pattern, we'll keep seeing these unsettled spells. There's some suggestion in the long-range models, and I stress this is low confidence, that we might see a Scandinavian high build around the 15th to 20th of February, which could bring colder, drier conditions. But we are talking 10 to 15 days out. That's essentially meteorological astrology at this point. Still, it is something to watch. Right then, let us bring this together. Friday evening through Saturday morning, widespread rain across much of Britain. Heaviest in the Midlands, northwest England, and parts of Wales. 20 to 40 millimetres expected. Southern England sees lighter amounts, 10 to 20 millimetres. Scotland mostly dry Friday, potential for light rain Saturday night. Winds strengthening Friday evening, 40 to 60 kilometres per hour inland, potentially 70 kilometres per hour on exposed coasts. Ground saturation means surface water flooding is possible even with these moderate rainfall amounts. Saturday afternoon looks better for most areas. Rain clearing eastward, brighter conditions following from the west. But keep an eye on that secondary low for Sunday evening, particularly if you are in western areas. Sunday currently looks like a split forecast, east staying dry, west potentially seeing rain. But that could change based on tomorrow's model runs. I know this isn't ideal for weekend plans, but unfortunately, this is the pattern we are stuck in at the moment. The Atlantic is very active. Low pressure systems are queuing up. Until we get a significant pattern change, these unsettled spells will continue. Do check back tomorrow because that Sunday uncertainty should resolve. We'll have the latest overnight model runs, and I can give you a much clearer picture for the second half of the weekend. Plus, I'll be addressing every location UV mentioned in the comments. I read every single one, and tomorrow's forecast will cover your specific area. If you haven't already, drop your city or county in the comments. I genuinely want to know where you are watching from, and I'll make sure tomorrow's forecast includes your area specifically. It helps me understand which regions need the most detailed coverage. Thank you for watching. Tomorrow's video will be up at 6 o'clock in the morning with the latest data. Stay dry out there, plan ahead for Friday evening, and I'll see you tomorrow with a clearer picture of what's coming next.